Okay.
Have you ever heard of the story of Henrietta Lacks? You might not even know how incredibly important she was in the medical field. For a very long time, medical professionals did not credit Lacks or her family for a role in helping the medical field. As a person who was very interested in learning about Black history, it was interesting and displeasing of learning the twisted corruption of the medical field. Today, I will share the full history of Henrietta Lacks and how she was disrespected and barely credited for her role in cancer research. First, let's explore the early life in Henrietta Lacks. She was born on August 1st, 1920, in Roanoke, Virginia. She was sent to live in her grandfather's log cabin, which was her grandfather was um, the son of a former slave and a white slave master. So yeah, she shared a room with her cousin David Lack's first cousin. In 1935, she had a son with her cousin when she was just 14. She had a daughter in 4 years later and married in 1941. A family friend convinced the Lax family to move to Maryland during the Great Migration um, after they had three more kids. We will now talk about her eventual cancer diagnosis and death. In January 1951, after having her fifth child, she came to Johns Hopkins Hospital where she complained about having a knot in her womb. Later, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. They cut pieces of her cervix where cancerous tissues was in her, and the cancerous tissues was sent to George J's lab. Jane noticed that the cells were growing very rapidly outside of the human body, and that is very unusual because cancer cells, once they're out of the human body, they die really fast. And Lax's just kept growing and growing in like 24 hours. And he named them HeLa cells. And he lied and said they were from a woman named Helen Lane, and to like, because he didn't want to credit her, don't know why. And she died after 9 months, surrounded by family. The doctors convinced her husband to perform an autopsy because the doctor said, "Oh, it will be beneficial for your children" or something like that. And turns out that was just a ploy to get more of her cancerous tissue, to get more cells. And she was also buried in an unmarked grave. After learning about her death, we will now discuss how Johns Hopkins Hospital went behind her family's back to further the research on HeLa cells. HeLa cells were used for military medical and cosmetical research. Jonas Salk, who developed the polio vaccine, used a strain of HeLa to do it. And also HeLa cells were mostly used in vaccines still today, like the flu vaccine. It was used basically almost any other medicine. It was help HeLa cells help, you know, HeLa cells help develop that medicine or vaccine. Journalists revealed the truth to the oh, sorry. In 1973, a family friend who was a doctor was researching the HeLa cells, and then he figured out, based on documents, that HeLa cells were Henrietta Lacks cells, and he told the family the truth. But a journalist revealed the truth to the public 2 years later. The family did try to get justice because people were profiting off of their mother, and doctors never credited her. But they hired a lawyer. Turns out he was a con man, and they fired him. And he threatened to sue them, and they did not have the money for that. And in that 2001, her daughter visited the lab where it was she hold like her blood cells. It was like the one last piece of her. Now you know how Henrietta Lacks is treated by medical professionals before and after her death. Even if you had just learned about how the story of Henrietta Lacks, you cannot help but feel empathy for her family. Now you know about Lax's early life, her cancer diagnosis and death, and finally how medical professionals almost got away with not giving her any credit. In conclusion, almost I hope that medical professionals I'm wait. Hope that medical professionals almost I hope that the medical professionals that almost got away with not giving her any credit learned that we do need it's like yeah I hope that medical professionals learn how to be ethically aware and hope that they learned oh my and learn what's right from wrong. I'm glad she finally got the justice she deserves and hope that any other situations like this ends up being on a positive note.